Thank you, Mr Acting Deputy President. I'd like to just raise in the Senate the importance of the work of the Northern Territory Government in terms of the restrictions across the Northern Territory in relation to COVID-19 and commend the Chief Minister and the Cabinet in their handling of what has been an incredibly difficult time. Just recently we've seen the people of the Northern Territory who live beyond the capital city of Darwin and the Palmerston region have had their restrictions moved so that internal travel around the Northern Territory has been quite significant. And I thank the people in all those areas, in all those communities across the Northern Territory for their diligence in making sure that these concerns around COVID-19 were followed, were adhered to, and many traditional owners, family, clan groups, community members went home, went on country and just waited until it was the appropriate time to be able to travel again throughout the NT. And it was difficult, Mr Acting Deputy President, for people to not be able to get to Katherine or to Alice Springs, but we did see in recent weeks with the removal of those intra-territory restrictions that our communities are now able to engage right across the territory. On the weekend, there were around 1,000 people, perhaps more, who then gathered in Darwin, Mr Acting Deputy President, to raise their concerns about the high incarceration rates of First Nations people in Australia, but also to call on governments, not just the Northern Territory Government, not just other state governments, but also the federal government, to realise that this issue, the issue where so many First Nations people are being incarcerated at an enormous rate, when we are only 3% of the population, must be brought to the forefront of the federal government's agenda. I reiterate my call, Mr Acting Deputy President, that the Prime Minister, through the National Cabinet, can make this an absolute priority. We have witnessed, through the work done on that National Cabinet, the ability of our country to engage against the concerns around COVID-19 and to do so in a united way. So we can do the same with issues that are impacting and affecting hundreds and thousands of Australians who have taken to the streets in recent weeks to express their deep passion, their heartfelt views in terms of the deaths in custody of over 400 people, 437, and the fact that there has not been anyone convicted or charged on those occasions. It is a difficult time in our country's history, but as political leaders, that's what we're here for, is to deal with the complex and difficult times as much as the good times. So we're not here to demonise the views of others, and we should not do that. We must always rise higher than that, especially here in the Senate, especially over there in the other House. We must do everything we can to make sure that we are not inflaming the division or even hatred at a time when people desperately need strong leadership. It's not about always agreeing, but it is about always trying to work together to find a common goal, a common road. So I say to the people of the Northern Territory, those who marched the streets of Darwin City on Larrakia country on the weekend, to the organisers, to the young Larrakia women who led the way, thank you. Thank you for your passion, your vision. Thank you for working with the Northern Territory Police to ensure that this was a safely held march and rally. And thank you to the Northern Territory Police for your support. Thank you to the Chief Medical Officer and to the Northern Territory Government for rising above what they could see was causing division across the country, that when you do work together, when you commit to working together, you can actually have some really positive outcomes. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator McCarthy. For those